Hello, MMA community. My name's Anushka Raja. I'm a doctor of physical therapy and I am TA with the Older Adult Division of the Institute of Clinical Excellence. In light of it being a week on working with people with cardiac conditions in our level 2 course, we're going to do a little review of a study. Heart failure is a serious condition and prevention is key, especially as we age. This study, published in JAMA Cardiology, looked at over 5,951 women aged 63 to 99 to see how their daily movement patterns affected their risk of developing heart failure. This was a prospective cohort study that was conducted from March 2012 to April 2014, but they had follow up for the incidence of heart failure that occurred through February 2022. The data was then analyzed from March to December of 2023. So they looked at it for over 10 years. The researchers used accelerometers to measure how much physical activity the women engaged in, as well as how much time they spent being sedentary. They followed these women over the course of several years and tracked who developed heart failure and what types they developed. Now, what did they find? The results were pretty clear, and I mean, this can't really shock anyone, but the more physical activity the women did, the lower their risk of heart failure. This was true for both overall heart failure and a specific type of heart failure with a preserved ejection fraction. But the interesting part is, it isn't just about moderate to vigorous exercise. We know we have recommendations based on light and moderate exercise, but they even included light activities, so like walking around the house or gardening, which made a huge difference. And on the flip side, obviously, the more time women spent in sitting, the higher their risk of heart failure. This isn't anything like revelational, right? Like we look at a lot of the things we saw. If you watched the Blue Zones, like they weren't talking about these women or people doing specific exercise. It was just living their everyday lives, and their everyday lives included activity. So a really big thing for us to keep in mind when we're constantly pushing, like, oh, like we're going to do this exercise. It's kind of a nice bias check sometimes of, okay, maybe it's like, maybe we don't need everyone deadlifting a bunch, or like we don't need them doing squats a bunch, but maybe it's just moving more that we need to push with some of these older adults. Especially like I have a large population of 90 plus year olds. And sometimes I'm like, yeah, they just play games or like do puzzles or watch TV or read books all day. So it's just how can we increase movement in general? But I'll go back to the results. So results suggested that approximately 70 minutes per day of light activity. So again, just moving around, not necessarily specific exercise, or 30 minutes a day of moderate to vigorous physical activity and 3,600 steps per day, which is much less than the 10,000 steps per day we often hear, may be a reasonable target amounts for older ambulatory women. So really, really big. It's like, remember those small changes can make a big difference. So, what does this mean for us? So, if we have patients, and I'm going to use this broadly, like for men and women, even though the study just talked about women, maybe it's just that we need to increase small activity, and that really will make a big impact on these people's heart health. And that's where our impact can be. It's not about running the marathon. It's not about deadlifting 135 pounds. It's about finding ways to move more throughout the day. Maybe it's taking the stairs instead of the elevator. That's something I've pushed a lot of my patients. I'm like, if you're safe to do the stairs and you're not using an assistive device that prohibits you from being able to do that, then maybe take the stairs instead of using the elevator. Or go for a short walk after meals, especially like dinner time, so you can get ready to go to bed and feel a little bit more wound down. Or maybe it's just like simply standing up and moving around every hour or so. A recommendation I made today for one of my patients was literally, I was like, she's like, I go to the bathroom every hour, and that's like the schedule she keeps. So I was like, okay, maybe you just add in like 5 sit to stands every single time that you're going up to the bathroom. And that's going to increase the impact so much more. And it's like she doesn't need to set out specific times to go to the gym or anything. She's just moving more. Because that's sometimes all you're going to get from your patients or people like your older adult, the loved ones in your family. Maybe it's just about like encouraging just greater movement in general. But it shows that the study really shows that sitting can be detrimental to our heart health. Like we always talk about, like we are older people in training, so it's take this as advice for yourself. A lot of people have pretty sedentary jobs these days, and we want to make sure that you're encouraging movement across the board, not just for your older adults. It's like okay, maybe during your workday you set a timer so that you go and do extra exercise. So again, remember this isn't just like movement for older adults. This is movement for us all. But the study is just a valuable reminder that we have the power to take control of our heart health. By moving more and setting less, we can reduce the risk of heart failure and improve our overall quality of life. If you want to learn more on how to work with people with cardiac conditions, our next cohort of older adult level 2 starts on May 15th, which you can sign up for if you've taken older adult level 1. If you have not yet taken older adult level 1, the next cohort starts on March 17th, so it's coming up soon. Another great opportunity to learn about how to work with older adults is coming to one of our live courses. Our our next one coming up is in New Orleans, February 22nd and 23rd, so this weekend. The one following that one will be in New Orleans, or sorry, in Sparks, Glencoe, which is March 15th to 16th. And then we're in Lamont, Illinois, March 22nd through 23rd. And if none of those work for you, hop on PT on Ice and find a course that is close to you. But if you have any questions about the article itself, it will be linked in the comment section of our YouTube or our Instagram channel. And you are always free to reach out with more questions. But have a great night, and I hope this helps.